The uglier the world becomes, the more people are interested in it. Because everyone has to undergo plastic surgery at the age of 16, the appearance comparison between people disappears. Everyone can be handsome and beautiful. Amy, 15, gets up every day and the first thing she does is adjust her face to the screen after the surgery. Her boyfriend had sent a message asking to meet at their old place. So Amy quickly went to the rooftop. This was their secret base. The two of them were familiar with wearing high-tech glasses. These allowed them to see through the golden and glorious city across from them. That's where only people who had undergone surgery could go. Everyone's faces were filled with happy smiles. When I thought of my boyfriend's love for me after the surgery, I was envious. But I was also a little worried. It seemed like I could sense his concerns. My boyfriend came to see me as soon as his surgery was over, and he refused to let the doctor remove the scar on his hand. After all, it was a symbol of love between the two of us. I heard that this flower called Love You finally made him feel relieved and he attended the plastic surgery conference soon after. The founder of the surgery, the doctor, appeared in the center of the venue. He told the students that as long as they underwent this surgery, everyone's internal and external appearance would become perfect and flawless. They could be completely free of the hatred and discrimination caused by appearance. Everyone listened with great expectation. There was cheering. The 16-year-old students stood up. They were about to welcome their transformation. During the time her boyfriend wasn't around, Amy wasn't idle. She visited the medical room every day to check her body and prepare for the upcoming surgery. To pass the time, she also told her fellow students about history. Hundreds of years ago, humans' over-reliance on fossil fuels led to the destruction of the Earth. Fortunately, a group of excellent scientists stepped up. Among them, the doctor invented a gene-modified flower called white tiger blue. This flower could not only produce oxygen but also provide energy to the city. This invention completely saved the Earth and humanity. Only one day remained until her appointment with her boyfriend. Amy sent a message repeatedly, desperately wanting to know his status. But she received no reply. This made her worried. Maybe something had happened. The next morning, Amy jumped out of bed in a panic. She used a system loophole to unlock the door. She rushed to the meeting place but didn't see her boyfriend. At that moment, a party was happening in the rich people's area. A mask accidentally fell into Amy's hands. She moved her body and put it on. A magical moment happened. Amy's casual clothes instantly transformed into a luxurious gown, and the world before her eyes became radiant and vibrant. Now she could sneak in unnoticed. Along the way, she saw scenes she'd never seen in the dormitory. After asking a passerby, she learned her boyfriend's location and hurried there. Finally, she saw the person she had been longing for. Faced with her boyfriend's confused expression, Amy finally realized something was wrong. She took off the mask. But her boyfriend looked flustered. He didn't even know how she had gotten in. After all, this was a place where ugly people were forbidden. His cold tone made Amy feel uneasy. When she raised her hand, she noticed that the scar had disappeared. To Amy, this felt like betrayal. But her boyfriend offered no explanation. He simply told Amy she would understand after the surgery. Amy wanted to say more, but suddenly an alarm rang. Amy's ugly identity had been scanned. This was bad. She had to run. She opened the store door and grabbed a bungee jacket. Security was already behind her. Without hesitation, Amy climbed to the rooftop and leaped, full of JY. This is the warden. Stay where you are. Just as Amy was being chased, someone stepped in and rescued her. Back in the room, Amy was the only one who hadn't been summoned. She was confused about what was happening. Suddenly, a manager appeared and, without saying a word, escorted her to a plane. Amy was nervous. She feared that her break-in to the rich zone had been discovered. She worried the school might strip her of her qualifications. After a long flight, the aircraft finally reached its destination. Amy never expected it was the doctor who wanted to see her. He had summoned her to investigate the disappearance of a female classmate. "It's my best friend, Lee," Amy heard and responded that she didn't know anything. But the lie detector next to her already indicated she was lying. It turned out that the day before the surgery, Lee had taken Amy to an abandoned place. He said that behind this place, there was a city called Yen City. It was completely different from their school. No one judged others based on their appearance. People there came from different regions and life was simple and free. Amy felt confused. She didn't understand why Lee was telling her this. After a long silence, Lee finally revealed her true purpose. She hoped Amy would not undergo the surgery and instead leave with her that night. Amy was shocked. The surgery was something she had been looking forward to since birth. For 16 years, she had dreamed of living in that golden city. How could she just give up on that? Seeing the determination in Amy's eyes, Lee didn't try to convince her any further. She simply left a note with the route to Yen City. If Amy ever changed her mind, she could find her there anytime. After that, Lee left the school alone on her skateboard and returned to her office. It was obvious that the doctor already knew all of this. He told Amy that Lee had been brainwashed by the leader of Yen City. He warned that Yen City was not as ideal as Lee described. In fact, it was secretly developing a terrible weapon planning to destroy their city. If it succeeded, the consequences would be disastrous, possibly even causing humanity to return to a primitive desert age. Despite the doctor's serious claims, Amy wasn't emotionally shaken. Right now, she only wanted to ensure her best friend's safety. The doctor asked Amy to find Lee and infiltrate Yen City. He gave her a necklace that would transmit information. Once activated, the army would launch a strike to destroy Yen City. The doctor promised that no matter the outcome of her mission, Amy's surgery would be upgraded to the highest level with the most prestigious beauty treatment. But this time, Amy did not agree immediately. The next day, she arrived at the entrance of the ruins. She took out the route map Lee had left and studied it carefully. First, she had to reach a mountain pass and follow the track forward. Then she would have to pass through a dense jungle, climb over a giant mountain, and finally jump off a 100-meter cliff. Amy breathed a sigh of relief all the way to a small base. There, she finally reunited with her best friend. The two hugged tightly, overwhelmed with joy. But amidst the excitement, Lee felt doubtful. Amy had been so resistant before. Why had she come now? Faced with her friend's suspicion, Amy confessed her true purpose. She came to bring her back to school. Lee's face darkened instantly but didn't ask Amy to leave immediately. Instead, she decided to give her a chance. To live in Yen City for a few days before making her final decision. She hoped Amy could see for herself how fake the city life truly was. The next day, the group finally entered Yen City. Though called a city, it was actually a large camp. All the food was grown by the residents themselves. Everyone had to work. Even the elderly were no exception. The entire place felt vibrant and alive. At night, the residents gathered around a bonfire and held a party. This atmosphere was something Amy had only experienced in the city's nightclubs. But here, everything felt more real and less artificial. Slowly, Amy began to understand what her best friend had meant. Still, doubts lingered in her heart. What about the weapon the doctor warned about? She tried to get information subtly by asking around. One man didn't explain much but told her to follow him. Amy walked with him all the way to a small house. His parents also lived there. After a brief introduction, the elderly couple revealed the truth about the weapon. They used to be plastic surgeons in the city. Every year, some patients would die due to brain death. Strangely, every single victim had undergone cosmetic surgery. To investigate the truth, they began to study the surgery medications. Eventually, they made a shocking discovery. These drugs not only caused, the most important truth was that the drug created a false sense of happiness. Simply put, it erased the real self. The real reason the doctor promoted the surgery was to control humanity. Even the doctor and his team had once undergone plastic surgery. But later, they discovered an antidote in their lab and used it to return to their true selves. Amy then learned that they had secretly escaped the Golden City and established Yen City in a remote area. The weapon that the doctor had warned about was actually the antidote to mind control. Now, the research was in its final stage, but it still lacked one last rare material, a substance only found in the city. The scientists in Yen City were trying to find a substitute for it. Upon hearing all of this, Amy was furious. She never expected the doctor to be so monstrous. In a moment of anger, she threw the necklace into the fire. But what Amy didn't know was that activating destruction was one of the conditions triggered by burning the necklace. The next morning, she was awakened by a roaring sound cutting through the sky. "Thank you for joining us, Tap. You performed a beautiful tally. I knew you would. Your procedure has been scheduled. In fact, Amy didn't want to give up her life. She ran away. The doctor was kind enough to let her go. So, Amy and Dawi hid inside a nearby cave. To make up for her mistake, Amy begged Dewey to go into the city and save their people. Although he was still angry, Dewey knew they were short on manpower. He agreed. After a long discussion, they came up with a perfect plan. First, they wrote words in the sky using fire, signaling that Yen's city hadn't yet been destroyed. As expected, the doctor saw the message and sent many soldiers to investigate. Once the soldiers had left, Amy and Dewey jumped into the prison using their bungee vests. Talia, do you love it? Amy blamed herself for turning her best friend into this ghostly version of herself. As they talked, the doctor appeared, forcing all of them into the operating room. They obeyed without resistance. The doctor was suspicious, but didn't think too deeply. He didn't know this was all part of Amy's plan. As the operation was about to begin, a helicopter suddenly appeared in the sky. The people of Yen City had already been positioned as planned. One of them activated a fire extinguisher. Its powerful blast flattened the operating room in seconds. Amidst the chaos, Dewey's mother grabbed the final ingredient for the antidote. Using the smoke as cover, the group successfully escaped the city. They returned to the ruins on their skateboards. After a short rest, Dewey's mother began crafting the antidote and gave it to the little fox, Amy's best friend. But shockingly, her best friend refused. "This is the life I want." It was heartbreaking. The others realized she might be right. Plastic surgery really could destroy the human mind and make people give up thinking. There was a serious problem. The antidote only works if the person agrees to take it. Forcing it would be dangerous. After a moment of silence, Amy stood up and made a bold decision. She would become the first test subject. She would return to the city, take the antidote, and confront the doctor. Her mind was now strong enough. She believed the surgery wouldn't control her. No one stopped her. They all knew this was the best way forward. Once everyone agreed, the group left the ruins. Amy stayed behind, waiting